Welcome back, bike farmers. Trying something new today, the 20-minute tune-up. I gotta be honest with you, I cheated a little bit and I've already installed new tires and spoke protector here. That's just to save a little bit of time. But if you've got a bike that doesn't need any parts replaced, I believe you can give it a complete tune-up, polish it, everything in 20 minutes. So we're gonna try to do that here. Obviously it's gonna take me a little bit longer than that because I gotta move the cameras around and whatever, but 20-minute tune-up, take one. Disconnect the brakes, which I already did, but I'll simulate it. Pop your wheels off. Set these guys aside for now. Now this bike was given to me. It was an abandoned bike, abandoned in a parking garage at a condo facility. Great place to get extra bikes if you're out there hunting. Big condos are a great place. You get people, or higher end apartments too. But usually they're pretty nice bikes, like this Trek FX series. It's a higher end one, I don't even know which one. But usually they're pretty nice, and there's a lot of turnover, and people are coming and going, and they abandon them, they leave them behind. And then the managers of these facilities are kind of stuck with them. They don't know what to do with them. And I've never actively gone around and been like, hey, I'll take your extra bikes, but it's come up a few times. People know about me, and this happened to be a friend who heard about it at his place, was like, hey, I know about these extra bikes. I'll grab a couple for you. And he knew just enough about what I would want, and he just dropped them off. So anyway, this one's not super bad, but a lot of the ones, if they're actually in the parking garage, they get kind of a black soot from all the exhaust. And they're really filthy. So that's why I started with the Dawn Power Wash, to really kind of give it more of a detergent type cleaning. And then as we go, I'll hit it with the furniture polish, wiping off the housing. A lot of times if you get the derailleur stretched out, you can kind of give it one of these. Polish the crank arm. I try to get around here. This is a spot in the chain guard that likes to collect dust and filth, and you can kind of go around there and it shines up. I have full intentions of selling this bike when I'm done. So I'm going to try to go from $0 to $400 on it. So this is how I make it worth $400. I could maybe even get $450 for this one because it's a real nice hybrid, road hybrid, I would call it. Fitness bike, flat bar road bike almost, flat bar gravel bike definitely. Getting in the nooks and crannies up here can be difficult. There's a lot of them, but this is just kind of the first going over with a rag. And we save the fork for later. You can give it a little wipe, but okay, that. Get underneath it. It's also very important, if you really want to be efficient, you got to have a very, very clean workbench with all your tools organized. Let me show you how I have that set up. I just keep my Dawn Power Wash there on the floor, I guess. And I got some stuff under the bench, and then there's a bunch of tools up here on the bench. And then up here on the wall, I stick some tools to some magnets, and then I got this drawer over here that's got some stuff written on it, and it's got stuff in it. And yeah, that's how I get it done. All right, over here on the spotless bench, Yeah. Clear some space. Make sure I'm still in frame there. Now that we have our bench cleaned, we can true and clean wheels. So generally speaking, these bikes that have just been sitting are in really good shape. Don't need a whole lot of truing. I can just kind of tell by looking at them. You know, this bike is dirty, but doesn't have a ton of miles on it. This wheel does have a little bit of wobble. Now one weird thing is that the wheels don't match on this, so I'm guessing this rear one is a replacement because the front one's a Bontrager wheel and the rear one is not. So I'm guessing it's a replacement wheel, which is going to be a better wheel in general. Even though this is a higher end Trek hybrid, so the parts on it are going to be a little nicer. I think replacement wheels are always better than the ones that come stock on the bikes. The ones that come on them are sufficient, obviously, until they're not. I do believe that you can build kind of a forever wheel. You know, nice beefy rim and 36 spokes, real high tension. Probably last you the rest of your life. This is a 36 hole, 36 spoke wheel, double walled, nice wide rim. It's a tiny bike, so the rider is not gonna weigh 250 pounds. You need it, but apparently the last rider needed to replace the wheel. So what do I know? I'm just gonna go through and take this little wobble out. I mean, I guess you gotta be pretty good at truing wheels if you want to tune a bike up in 20 minutes. Just a couple more spots here. Done. Okay. You can see this one's different. It's black. Bontrager Nebula. I mean, it's aero-ish and definitely double walled. How many spokes does it have? Looks like a 36 hole. So it's a strong wheel too. I wonder what happened to that back one. Might have run it over or had an accident. My kid borrowed my bike and parked it behind my car. And then I got in my car and I pulled out of the garage and ran the bike over. I think I need a new tire. No, sir. I believe you need an entire wheel. Yeah, that's what I said, a new tire. You hang around bike shops enough, there are recurring dreams or nightmares, depending on your point of view. I was just riding along, JRA, we call that. You know, I was just riding along once, and almost near catastrophic to the rear derailleur failure. It just chain wrapped, and I almost broke a frame. I didn't have, it was a steel bike, titanium bike. Didn't have a hanger on it. It just bent. And I was able to bend it back into shape and ride the bike, but man, it was weird. This wheel reflector was flopping around because that guy was loose. Front wheel's done. All right, we're gonna lube every cable on this bike in under 2 minutes. Okay, get them all loose. Grab your little jar of lube. My favorite is T9, or no, I'm sorry, Tri-Flow. A lot of people use T9. And I'm just putting a couple drops on each of the cables up here in the front. The front brake cable's a little different. You gotta let gravity kind of suck it down into the housing. You know, if your cables are super rusty, this isn't gonna work very well for you. Get the back rear derailleur loop here. The front one, you can lube down here, the cable guides. Have one of those. This housing is a little tweaky. And you put your housing back. Rear brake. Let's do, I didn't do this part. Oh, there's some rust. Not too bad though. There you have it. All the cables are lubed. I'm gonna give these brakes some attention. Actually, I'm gonna use one step here. One step is a nice little product. It cleans and lubes. And I like it because it's really fine and seems to really work its way into brake pivots. And just kind of reanimates the grease that was there from back in the day. Now's a good time to hit your fork because the wheels are about to go back on. Woo. I don't always work this fast, but some days when I'm really trying to get a lot of bikes done, if I'm on a mission, if I got a customer waiting, especially in the bike mobile, I can kind of crank through them if the bikes are in good shape. All right, we got our brakes lubed up. Still haven't wiped them down. It's okay. The front wheel on. Starting to look like a bike again. With those cables all lubed up and the pivots lubed and everything, these brakes feel like brand new. Better than new, in fact. That's what I think, at least. I love an older bike like this. Gets tuned up. You know, I'm not even going to need to use the furniture polish on this bike. It's shiny enough as it is. But I like to wipe as I go. You know, I'm pretty liberal with the usage of my lube, so it kind of gets all over the place. And okay, this chain is bone dry. Just spray it real good. Pulleys, derailleur pivots, kickstand. Pedal axles. That's all good. I'm gonna squirt some one step up in these shifters. Give these shifter pods a nice flush of one step. That's gonna help them shift way better. And with the freshly lubed cables, that feels really good. I'm gonna check my indexing here. Give you an angle on that. It's hesitating just a little bit, so give it a half a turn. We're just going to run through it a few times. Get all the lubricant working its way into nooks and crannies. We'll go into the middle chainring. Go all the way down in the high gear. Check for clearance. It's pretty good. It's just barely touching. And just barely touching there. I think the front derailleur is fully functional. Very well adjusted. Yep. Checking all the extremes. Seems to be shifting fine. Put it in the middle gear. Forget it. Rear brake is only pulling from one side. That looks pretty good. Force of habit that I just ran through the gears. I just do it, I guess. Rear brake is good. I'm just going to check the pads. Yeah, I like it. Missing a valve cap. The most important part of a bicycle, if you're selling it. Seems to be pulling more from this side. I'm going to loosen the tension a little bit. These Avid single-digit brakes are great. Feels really good. That's another thing. So you spin the front wheel, slam it, you can test the headset that way. Headset's perfectly fine. I have not been watching the clock, so I have no idea where we are in time. But this bike, I'd call it tuned. So if it's been 20 minutes, there's your 20-minute tune-up. But we have a few little last-minute things to do. Just a quick final little going over with the rag. I noticed that the shift levers had some dust. You know, I sprayed the crap out of these pods. Never wiped them down. So you can do that. I always forget about this back side of the bike. So I hit that one more time with the rag. Check your kickstand plate. It's real easy. 14mm wrench. Give it the old reach around. Do not neglect the nether regions. There's some adhesive from a bike shop sticker down here. I don't know if I'm going to get it up with brake cleaner or not. It's pretty stubborn. Oh, it's scraping it off. I just use a plastic tire lever to scrape stickers off. There. And then yeah, a nice heavy degreaser took care of it. Okay, so I like to drop a little bit of lube in bolt heads that look dry, and like the threads, stuff that I haven't hit. A lot of times stem bolts are dried out, starting to corrode. And this just kind of breathes a little bit of life into them. Looks better too. It's nice to drop a little in your brake lever pivots. Get in here. There you have it. I don't like that front brake. Uh-oh, I'm wasting time looking for tools on my bench. If I had them organized. Much snappier. Might as well tighten up the rear one too to match it. I don't like using a three-way for this, but I couldn't find my T-handle. I give up. Here, we'll use this. Yeah, when you adjust your cable tension, you can throw things out of balance. I like it. Oh, we're missing a valve cap. All right, now we're good. There you have it, bike farmers. That's a 20-minute tune-up. We got through all the systems of the bike, lubricated all the cables, everything got cleaned, wheels got trued. Off camera, we put on some new tires and a spoke protector. Other than that, brakes are adjusted. We're accessing all the gears. It's indexing properly. Nothing's rubbing. This is a great bike. It's gonna really serve somebody well. I hope to find a new rider for it very soon. Thanks again for tuning in. If you like this content and want to see others, let me know what you think of the 20-minute tune-ups in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. Tell your friends. There's lots to learn and more to come. Thank you.